Okay, setting up the screen. We're getting ready. Today's guest is amazing. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Yes. Hey there. Who is that coming in all early? I love it. Hey all, we are getting ready. I'm just setting up. I see Miss Sarita Allen. Let's see what's happening. I'm excited. Yes, I'm inviting her in and we will get going. Woo! It's a hot one.
We did it! Way, we did it. Oh, you too, right? It was hot, girl.
I have my Revelations fan.
Oh, wait, hang on. I got mine too. Let me get it.
Get your Revelations fan. Okay, so while she's getting her Revelations fan, hey everybody. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late. I've been working all day. Some of you may know that Summer Stage is going digital tonight. Yes, we are. And we have our first presentation tonight online at 7 p.m. on YouTube. So we have been in meetings all day. I mean, I've literally been in meetings since 1:30 up to this point. So I am happy to be here though with Sarita Allen. I love you, Sarita. Thank you for doing this. You look beautiful.
Thank you, Danny. You have a presentation tonight?
So Summer Stage is going, and we're kicking off our digital season tonight with a Voices program hosted by Mark Bamuthi Joseph. Stacey Ann Chin is speaking, Michael Ealy. I mean, so it was a program we did in Central Park 2 years ago on the anniversary of the March on Washington. And it's a beautiful program. They're going to be reading from passages from Howard Zinn's book, Voices of a People's History, I believe it's called. And also some personal passages of their own. So it's going to be really amazing. That's at 7 on YouTube.
Wow.
Very quick time, we turned around our festival, and there's still a lot more to come. But enough about that.
No. I want to get back to the Summer Stage and how you like transformed it. I mean, Summer Stage was always an iconic event in New York, but you just took it up like boo, 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 boo. Kind of like what Aubrey Lynch did with the Harlem School of the Arts.
Absolutely. No,
it wasn't that it was bad, but you just like boo, boo, boo. Took it to the next level. I love it.
We're doing a yellow section. Rockin' my
girl, I was sweating. I said, "Oh, I'm gonna be sweating up in here."
So
I love it.
Are just joining us. Welcome. This is dannIGeeLive. This is, I think, my 9th episode, and I have the amazing Sarita Allen with me.
Hello.
And it's Friday. Lots been going on in the world, but the love, life, history, dance, and whatever else Miss Allen wants to talk about. And I just want to start off by saying that I first saw you dance, obviously, with Ailey. I guess when the company came to Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. And, I'll just be honest, for my body type, when I looked at your body type, even though, obviously you were Ailey size, but you still, you had body, you had thighs.
Holla.
I remember seeing you and thinking, yeah, I can do this. Like I looked at you and said, she looks like me. Right. Obviously, your feet and everything. You had the feet, honey. You had the feet of doom. Yeah. But it really inspired me to keep going. And then I got to meet you. I don't know if you remember this, but I was still dancing with Philadelphia. Uh-huh. And we were doing Elisa Monte's Dreamtime. And with a role, did you dance the solo role? You did, right?
No, but I don't remember if I did, but Rebecca.
Right, yeah.
I saw you dance that.
So you came down to Philly because Elisa asked you, she couldn't come. So she asked you to come instead to coach us in the roles and the work. And we were taking ballet. And I remember you came in and I was like, oh. And then you stood right behind me at the bar. And when I tell you, I almost passed out.
No.
Sarita Allen is here. And you were like, hey girl. And I was just so humbled in that moment. And then rehearsal started. And I think you did the group section first. And then you said, okay, let's focus on the solo. And I was so nervous. And you were like, it's okay, relax. It's okay, relax. And you talked me through it. You gave me such encouragement and such beautiful love. And then a few years later, because I had to be like 89, 90.
Yes.
Then I saw you with the Jamison project. You know, I'm sort of skipping through your bio, but then I joined the company in 1991. And then I walk into the room, my first day of rehearsal, and you were one of the first people that I saw. And I'm in the room with the greats of the greats of the greats. And you, to me, were always that person.
Thank you.
And I dug out this card. I'm trying not to get emotional because you know me. Sarita, you know me.
That's where you my sister, girl.
So you gave me this card. It was actually my second season, and it was right before the premiere of Frames by Dwight Rhoden.
Oh.
And this is the card, people. I saved it in my scrapbook.
Oh, I remember that card.
I saved everything. I'm so sentimental. Look, this is from Sarita Allen, 1992 City Center, to Danielle, because, you know, I was Danielle then. I mean, most people still call me Danielle, but most, you know, professionally, I was Danielle. This is a special little angel who will watch over you, making sure that all the details will happen as they should for your New York coming out party. You are truly the best new major dancer to come along in a long, long time. They will love you. May the force be with you. Love, Sarita.
Woo!
So thank you for that. And thank you for always being in my corner. Thank you for always being that light, that inspiration, that motivation, that guide. I mean, you were always a cheerleader. You were always like there. You always talked about Alvin, what Alvin would have wanted, or his thoughts about everything. And I definitely want to go back to like young Sarita, because you've always been so effervescent and just full of joy and light. And I'm just so curious about what the child Sarita was like. I met your mom, who's amazing. It's
oh my God.
I think she might even be watching. I'm not sure, but tell us, like, what's growing up in Seattle? What was young baby Sarita like?
Well, you know what? It was interesting because people always ask everybody the question who dances. How did you start dancing? Right? Was it normally you see a performance that inspires you, or you know, you're taken to a show and you say, oh, I want to do that. I never remember that moment. I asked my mom and she said, you just always were dancing.
Wow.
And I think a little bit is in my genes somehow, you know, because my grandmother wanted to be a dancer. Of course, back in her day, where was she going to dance? And my mom, she wanted to be a concert pianist, but she would always just love dancing. She would embarrass me all the time. My friends would come over. She would put music on, then she would just start to improvise. So I think I have that dancing in my genes. So she just said, you were just always just dancing around the house. So they put me in classes really young, like whatever you do at 4 years old, run around.
4 years old.
Yeah, or whatever. And then, you know, and then I started going to one of the schools where you do everything in 1 hour. We had tap, baton, character, point shoes, acrobatics, all in 1 hour. One of those shoes. It was Patricia Perry's School of Dance.
Okay, yes. Thank you, Patricia Perry.
Oh, I remember when this was really funny. It was so, when we got fitted for our point shoes, because she would, I don't think we even had like Capezios there. So we would have to put our foot on a piece of paper and then they would trace our foot and then we would send it. You did too?
We had to do that too.
Oh, really?
In a Capezio dance store, whatever it was.
Oh, okay.
To there.
Then we would put that on, and then when we did the acrobatics, she would put a belt on us, and then 2 people on the side would hold us. So we would do our cartwheels and handstands and walkovers. Then we put our tap shoes on.
Yes.
And then we got the baton and we twirled. So that's my early days.
Those are the early baby days of Sarita Allen. And so, you know, when exactly did you come to New York? When did you come east?
Well, I came I can't remember the year, I will say. It's all right. But before I graduated high school, it was one of those things where my teacher, I was lucky, you know, it all is about the teachers in your formative years. Oh. And I just got lucky that I had this amazing teacher. And we used to have to go every day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, once we got to a certain age, you know how it is. Like you did it, you go every day. You don't go once a week.
Right.
And I remember my mom used to have to drive me every day, and she was a school teacher, so she did a full day of school, picked me up, went to the school. It was like 2 hours away. That every night we did this. So anyway, I remember reading about Dance Theater of Harlem the first time I saw it in the book, Dance Magazine. I go, oh my God, there's Black people.
It's Black people.
I was like, you know, because I was always ballet, and I was always pretty much the only one. They didn't make me feel bad. You know, they were really loving, nice. We had a couple of others. We had some Asians, but you know, in the ballet world,
right,
back then. So anyway, she called him, Carl Shook, who was the co-director. Turns out she was his first teacher back in the day. She said, I have this dancer. So he said, tell her to come to New York. So just on her recommendation, I went. And that first summer I was there with Donna Wood and Gary DeLoach and Christina Kimball. So that was pretty mind-boggling because we all came from our various places. And this is when Dance Theater of Harlem was at the Church of the Masters. And we were in the basement in the basketball ring. They had the basketball court, and you know, there was no real dressing room. But all these people coming from all different places. And we were like, wow, hey. But we were, you know, all Black people in the same room doing ballet.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of how my journey was a little bit, not ballet, but my high school was predominantly white and performing arts high school. And when I was introduced to Philadelphia and went there and saw all these amazing Black people, just every shade, body type, every level of just like earthiness and elegance, I was fixated and in love with everyone. And it set me up to think, yeah, this is where I need to be. I felt at home. I felt relaxed. I felt like I'm home. This is my
home. You were home.
I felt like I was at home. And so you're dancing at Dance Theater of Harlem. You're taking class. You're a ballerina. You're a trainer. Right.
But that's when I also met Kathy Grant, the amazing Kathy Grant. From Mr. Pilates, and she was the first administrator for the school. And anyway, she was giving us Pilates. Nobody really knew what that was back then. All we knew was we were on the floor like pumping our arms, and she would have us sing nursery rhyme. And all we know is, I thought this was ballet. I don't know, you know, the most ballet people did at that time, maybe you stretched on the floor, but you weren't doing these weird things.
Yeah.
Because, you know, in those days, Pilates hadn't become a norm for dance.
Right.
Anyway, so I met her. I went home, graduated, came back to Dance Theater of Harlem, and I became an apprentice with the company. I made a friend, and she said, oh, I'm going to go to audition for Alvin Ailey, but I really don't want to go by myself. Can you just go, you know, just as, you know, you need your peeps there.
Right, right.
So she was my best friend, so we went, and then I ended up getting the scholarship.
And what happened to her?
So in those days, she didn't get it. Ooh. But in those days, like now, it's cool to go from different schools. It's, you know, it's more, but then it was like, almost like the Capulets and the,
right.
You know what I mean? You just go uptown, downtown. So, I mean, I can say this now. It's fine. Who cares? Yeah. So I would go to DTH in the morning with the company. And then in the afternoon, I would like go downtown and take classes at Ailey. And then soon it became clear that was more my calling, you know. Let's say, as much as I love ballet, I took the pointe shoes off, and I was like, oh, my feet were free. I was like,
those gorgeous feet.
I love ballet, but it was just it was like you experienced, you know, a different place, and I was like, okay, I'm home here. I love DTH, but it was just experiencing different things.
Right, and so, which was something that I was not aware of until I was watching your talk a few weeks ago with Desmond, how the whole Alvin Ailey, the Duke Ellington special came together, Night Creature, one of your most celebrated roles, you know, as a lead in the Night Creature. Please tell us, like, what happened with that, with Alvin?
Well, that was interesting because the company, I guess, was busy, and, you know, we always needed money like now. And they had an opportunity to make some money with a CBS special. Ailey celebrates Ellington, or some people say that he had the idea, whatever, we wanted to do it, but the company wasn't available. And Alvin and Duke were very close. They both, you know, of course, were enamored with each other. And when you think about it, they were almost similar, because the Duke style, even though people considered him primarily jazz, but clearly when you hear his orchestrations,
oh yeah,
that's classical. I mean, he's all over. So he was a perfect fit for Alvin, who mixed mediums also. They weren't, you couldn't categorize. So they were very complementary. You know what I mean? And they really were drawn toward each other. And he said he was his first full-blown genius. Alvin said this about Duke. And clearly he was, when you think about how prolific his music was. The styles, and just amazing. So anyway, there was a group of us that just practically lived there. You know, we would go there. You know how we do when you're obsessed. Like you did at Danko, you stay there. You don't take one class and leave. You live there, and that becomes, you know, you hang out. That becomes your family.
Yes.
And so, and we were just obsessed. So even before that, he realized, he says, God, these kids need something else to do. So he would periodically have company members choreograph on us, or, you know, like Keith Lee, different people, so we could experience what it is to learn choreography, which he knew was valuable, not just to take class. So it was part of our education. So this opportunity came up, and he chose, I don't know how many, he chose a group of us, the main group who were like the crazy people. And that's when he started, he choreographed Night Creatures, he choreographed the Mooche. I can't think of the other things. It was like 4 or 5 things all to Ellington. And the thing that also made it special, Alvin hadn't danced in about 9 years, and he got back into shape to do this. He was so we would watch him like take class, get in shape, and then he choreographed it. So he choreographed it, but for himself, because he was the lead. So it was extraordinary to watch his transformation. This was somebody we know as, you know, Alvin, our gentle giant. He was just so kind. And then he just got like you said, like when you gorgeous.
When you got to the school, do you remember the first time you actually saw him?
No, I do not. And that's one of the things, I don't know. I had a brain concussion. Well, that's another story. But a lot of things are kind of, some things I remember, but some things I don't. And I really wish I remember. But but there was another woman, Gia, who was one of my colleagues back then. She told me this story that I remember. I guess I was in Graham class, and she said, Alvin said, he saw me, and she remembers that. The first time he saw me, he said, "Who's that?" Yeah. And she said, "Oh, that's Sarita." And she also told me other things, which I don't know. I guess I won't go into that. But anyway, because it's not that nice. But someone had, I could say, I won't name names. Don't name names. Somebody had said something. He goes, "Well, who's she?" And he says, "Yeah, she's good, but I don't know if you're going to like her body, her legs." He says, "We could take care of that," or whatever. He says, "I don't care. She's beautiful. I want her." And that was that. He was like, "Were you crazy?" And so if you don't see that, so he always said he didn't like cookie cutter dancers. Thank you. But he could, so that actually worked in my favor, because the parts that he choreographed for me wouldn't really work on people who are like anorexic. No, I mean, they're body. Yeah. And I think sometimes when you do have, even though I never considered it like anything bad, but it forces you always feel like you have to work harder. Some people who are just born naturally, they work, but they don't have that extra thing, because anything they do, they just look, they don't even have to barely lift their leg up. They just, if their legs are long, they look like they're here. Exactly. So it kind of worked in my benefit that I had to work harder, but in working harder, I got better. Yeah. And I had not had to work that hard to prove. Yeah. It's like Black people in general. We always have to work harder. 3 times as good. Yeah. But then you get better. So you were still in your teens when this was going on. Yes. As the CBS special,
And were you just invited to the first company from there?
Well, that I do remember. I didn't remember this either, but one of my best friends who was there, she goes, "Don't you remember?" I go, "No." She said, somebody came in and just gave you a letter, and it said, he always called Miss Allen. He says, "Miss Allen, I'd like to invite you. Can you join us with the company on Monday, whatever the date? Rehearsals start at this time."
What did you do? Were you just like...
I went to rehearsal. No. It was pretty crazy because, again, they didn't have audition, but I had already worked. And when I got in the company, he brought those ballets. So I was really lucky. So I came in with ballets, and he had already choreographed the Mooche on me. So my first season, he did, was with Judith, and she played Bessie Smith. And it was me and Sara Yarborough. So that was my first season. There's that picture I love with myself in between Alvin. So that was pretty amazing because Judith was already a big star at that point when I got in.
Right. So I just started reading this.
Oh, it's amazing.
So amazing. And I found this passage, speaking to your ballet background, where you're saying, well, before that, you're talking about when you got to Ailey, and there were so many different types of people there. There was different music in each studio. Different parts of the body were used in class. To your point earlier, we were there from early morning until late at night. And then the other thing I know, what was amazing was, Jennifer Dunning, who wrote this book, saying that, the Sarita Allen, the prim ballet dancer, went on to become one of the company's most earthiest and glamorous dancer. And that's so true. That's so true. And this other amazing part from the book, because I remember you and I got in the company, and again, you were and are amazing and glamorous. I mean, just always glamorous. My first tour, so my first tour with the company, we were in Athens, Greece. That was my very first tour with the company, blew me away overseas. And we were leaving back for the airport to go home, back to New York. And I guess our stage manager or company manager at the time was like, "Where's Sarita? Where's Sarita?" Oh. That was good. It's fabulous. Okay. You come zooming up around the corner, girl, on the back of somebody's motorcycle. You were like, "I'm here." And I thought that was the most fabulous thing ever. And then so there's this part of the book too that speaks to Alvin, and knowing that dancers, artists are human beings, and you have to live to be an artist, honestly. And he goes, Alvin always said, you have to experience things. This is your quote. You have to go out and do it. And for a time, I was kind of wild. You have to go out and do. I never messed up with my work with the company, but I thought I had to see what it feels like to have a heartache, to be sad, and really miserable.
Well, I was just a ballet. I really was like the quintessential, not going out and just that tunnel vision, and what another one of Alvin's gifts that, like a lot of directors, choreographers, that they have the gift to see something in you.
Yes.
Like a movie director or something, not just the dance. Yeah. And so I always say that Alvin kind of introduced myself to me. Because when I got the parts, especially the Mooche, I was like,
right.
Me? I felt I was like, I'm like, the Sugar Plum Fairy. In my mind, those are the parts that I did. I'm like, you mean I gotta have high heels and put boobs on? I was like, he saw that? And my hair was short. It wasn't like sexy at all. Yeah. So what was interesting about doing the Mooche is Alvin showed me each move, like all that. And people don't know, but all that, the Suzuki with the man and the hips and all, even the expression. He was an amazing actor, an amazing mime. Right. People don't know that. That's why he named the company Theater. So he showed me down to the baby finger how to act like that character, that sexy character.
Absolutely. And you write that, you talk about that actually in the book. You were like, me?
Yeah.
This sexy thing? That's not me. And then
I
you
know.
embodied it, but you embodied it. You figured it out. And, you know, I think, you know, even when I talk to young dancers now, you know, try to put some kind of a story behind what you're doing so that the audience gets it. Like the pretty leg, the pretty feet, all the turns. That's wonderful, you know, but boring. Even if the ballet is an abstract something, but try to still have some kind of story going on in your own mind for yourself so that you're coming out with some kind of light behind your eyes. And you're not just some dead fish dancer out there, you know, that we paid all this money to come see. Because, you know, going to see live dance anymore, it has become such a luxury item, which is crazy, which is why I love what I do at Summer Stage and free dance and all. Do you have, I mean, this might be too large of a question, but is there one or two favorite roles from the Ailey repertoire that you danced?
Yeah, easy. One of my favorite ballets from Alvin was Masakela, and I did both parts. The striped, you did the striped dress.
No, I never
You
had
did
that.
it? You should have. I'm seeing you. Did you do the black girl?
No, I was.
I see you in that.
I wish, but all
Maybe
good.
we wouldn't do that in that time. But the woman in the black dress. Yeah, I mean, it's just that ballet in general. You know, we talk about getting your life.
Yes.
That character with that, just all of it. I mean, I like the striped dress too, but I would think, you know, people always think Night Creatures. I love Night Creatures, but yeah, I love Masakela.
Masakela was amazing, and I just remember it was still in the rep when I got into the company, and I was just so excited to see all the set pieces. There was a jukebox, there was a ceiling fan, and I remember that whenever the curtain would go up on Masakela, it would always get applause. And who typically was your partner? Was it Andre or Gary for that?
It was different people. At first, it was actually, oh my gosh, I could see his face because he was my first partner in Treading. Alistair Butler played that part of the man, the Kelvin Retardier played, that character.
Yeah.
But you're right, when the curtain opens and that Masakela music and just that, the walking, that's so brilliant, his staging, the walking back and forth, the introduction of each character, and then the dragging of the chair back. That's my favorite part at the end. Just looking at the audience, simply just dragging that chair back.
Yes.
And then sitting. Sitting.
Was so brilliant for you. And but that ballet in Masakela Langage, that ballet was pure theater. And so I had one of the smaller characters that just hung out in the back in the club. But I remember being excited because, you know, like, they gave us liberties with our characters, right? Yeah. And I remember smoking a cigarette back there. Like really smoking a cigarette.
Really? Yeah. Oh, right. Those days you could smoke on stage.
Right. Back in those days. Right. And, you know, Lydia was in my cast, and, you know, I see Christina Johnson like chiming in and actually I spoke with Corinne last week, and she said that black dress character was a role that she would have loved to have danced. I mean, it was such a meaty role when you think about dance roles, so meaty, you know. And so when did you dance with, were you still with Ailey when you guessed it with Elisa Monte, or when did that fall in there?
That came kind of, I don't know. I just want to say one thing before we leave Masakela.
Sure.
It was one of Alvin's most profound. I mean, all his work is political.
Oh, yeah.
But that one really was in response to the apartheid in South Africa. Mm-hmm. But he also transposed it to a club in Chicago. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, it could still be to this day.
Absolutely.
You know, when he's talking about using arts to educate and also to shine a light, but to heal.
Yes.
You know, so his platform growing up in segregation, like he experienced racism, like the real racism, not being able to, you know, sit a certain place, to have the water what is it, the water things differently, and he saw the Ku Klux Klan on a regular basis. I mean, that was his life growing up.
Were you in the company when the company was dancing it and there were bomb threats against the theater? I remember hearing that story. Where was that? Florida? Where was that?
Well, there was a lot of different times, and we had like, we were in we were also, he said, in Romania. The composer, Romania, Czechoslovakia, the composer for the music, his music had been banned when the communists took over.
Oh wow!
Which is ridiculous. So how could playing a score hurt anybody? But because I guess he was a part of the resistance, they said, you have to take this off of the program because his music is not allowed.
Wow!
And I was like, no, we're doing it. I'll never forget, the composer came to the performance, and he was really old then. He was like maybe 95, 100. He came with his cane and his wife.
Wow.
And I remember they were thanking him so much. All of us, you can imagine, he hadn't heard his music played and let alone danced to just because of government and because of prejudice. I think he probably maybe was Jewish also. So, you know, all of Alvin's things have mostly been, you know, political, and that was his way of helping the struggle by showing us actually the world, the beauty of Black people, when most of the world was only seeing images of drug dealers and prostitutes, and also by having an interracial company. Show the world. A lot of places we went back in the day, they really didn't ever see Black people before. Right. So everyone has their own way of dealing with or helping the cause. Right, right. And that was our way, is using the arts to heal and to show beauty and to, you know, that was his thing.
We were, I mean, just, you know, feeling the weight and the responsibility of being that, you know, the cultural ambassadors that we were and are, and then traveling the world and living up to that Ailey model, that Ailey elegance. And I'll never forget one of my very few run-ins with Judy. I mean, we had a great relationship, Judy and I. We really, really did. But, you know, I was young in the company. We were somewhere in Europe. We were at one of those breakfasts, you know, the buffet breakfasts that we would stock up kids. We would stock up on the food.
Take turns. Whoever your roommate was, you would take turns. Who's going down for breakfast? And you would eat for like a week practically, or whatever. At least the whole day you'd have your snacky snacks.
Exactly. And so we
have your lunch
in the breakfast room, and I was probably with Michael Joy, Michael Thomas, Troy, and we were cackling, I mean, loud. And Judy came by the table, and she was like, I can hear you all the way across the restaurant. You need to, you know. And I remember, again, just being young and simple, and I was like, okay, Judy, you know, something. And sure enough, I got a little note on my dressing room table to please meet her in the office before the show. Right. And she straightened me all the way out. And she's like, you are representing the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater. You cannot be up in there in the restaurant cackling. They know who you are, and you have to, you know, comport yourself in that manner. I was like, okay. She never had to tell me that.
Right.
Right. So we're going on to, your career has just traversed so many genres and companies and continents. But I do want to talk about Elisa Monte because treading. Oh my God.
I know. Well, I call her my guardian angel, not my guardian angel, like lucky charm. Somehow we work together, but it's interesting with treading that she chose me to be the first one to do it.
Yes.
And that also is a testament to Alvin, how he always was trying to showcase young talent. So he had seen treading her do it. She was a star in the Graham Company. I don't know where, I guess he saw some performance of her and her husband, David. Mm-hmm. So she didn't have a company at that time. I think the treading was like one of her first ballets.
It was.
It was kind of like Revelation. So they had that in common. Yeah. And so he says, oh my God, it's really like nothing else. Mm-hmm. So even though it was her first ballet, has always been a strong woman, meaning she was most young choreographers would be like, okay, who do you want? I'll take anybody you choose, you know, like that. But she was like, no, I want her.
Yes.
And that's it. And
Yeah.
so, and it was not easy. I remember because she was so demanding, not in a bad way, but it wasn't, and Alistair Butler was my first partner. It wasn't like a match made in heaven. It wasn't smooth and it took a lot of effort to do it. So it was, you know, sometimes you start something, it's just effortless. It just seems like it was made for you. Even though it ended up formulating, but I think because of the work that was put in, it was like, that is one of my all-time favorite ballets to do. And you know, from dancing Elisa's work, there's a certain feeling.
Oh, yeah.
Like dancing Ulysses' work, that has a certain vibe too. But Elisa's is like a slow burn. It's like a slow, but is a definite feeling that you get from dancing her work.
Right.
And because of the success, then he commissioned her to do Pigs and Fishes.
Okay.
Which was another ballet. And so I worked by myself. I went to her loft because she wanted to, it was a group piece, but she wanted to add a solo for me in the beginning. So somehow, you know, you fit, it's almost like a songstress and a songwriter. Sometimes you just fit, their music fits you. So Lisa's choreography and me, we fit together.
Oh, it was wonderful. And actually,
Thank you.
was the 20th anniversary of the creation of Treading. And so I booked Elisa Monte dance for Summer Stage, and the current artistic director, Tiffany Ray Fisher, danced Treading at the show. And it was amazing, amazing, amazing. Elisa's great. I mean, when she came to choreograph Dreamtime or set Dreamtime on Philadelphia, she actually came down to Philly. She was going to watch our dance class and then pick, you know, from watching us take class. And I'll never forget, I was late to class. I was running late, but the night before, I had tried to give myself some highlights. You know, remember?
You want to look edgy.
I wasn't be edgy. She was coming from New York. And I tried to put in, do you guys remember Sun-In, that product?
Yes, I used to use Sun-In.
Oh my God. I basically came in looking like this. But my hair turned this awful color of orange. And I walked into the rehearsal late. I ran in. I had on an electric blue unitard with this like red, yellowish hair.
No.
Like, oh, that's interesting. Okay. And like literally right after the class, we're like, you know, taking a break, getting some water. And Aunt Joan Myers-Brown came over to me and said, Elisa wants you to learn the solo. And at that time, I was splitting the solo. It was myself and Peter McCoy. So a man or a woman could do the solo. Peter, I know, right? And she was just wonderful, wonderful to work with. And so there's Ailey, there's Elisa Monte. I also want to touch on, I mean, quickly, because I always feel like there's so little time, there's so much to talk about, but the Jamison project.
Oh. That was a moment in time.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that happened because, again, Alvin's generosity, he allowed you to go and come. Like my first opportunity was to do for Color Girls who consider suicide when the rainbow is enough. For PBS, there was a part called Seshita, which wasn't a talking part, but when they filmed it, they said, oh, we want to make Seshita a character. And Dia McIntyre asked me if I would do it. So I was like, I remember being, oh, I don't know, we're working then.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, I talked to Alvin about it. He goes, well, what do you think I'm training you for?
Oh,
he says, I'm not training you. This is not the end all be all. I'm training you all to do the different styles so you can get jobs doing all different genres.
Amen.
He goes, he says, there's other people that could do your part. There's different casts. Not like that, but you just go. Because a lot of directors, you can't go.
Yeah.
Like that.
Right.
Unless it's during your break.
Right.
So that was one of the first times the second time was a certain period. You know, there's certain times I was just lucky, but there was a lot of dance films that came all at the same time. Some are now iconic, like Beach Street. It was one of the movies, Beach Street. So that was fun. And I had purple hair in that, and I got to do. I was amazed because it was the first time you're seeing that type of the dance. That, what do they call it?
Hop locking and breaking.
Yeah, all that break dance. That's right. Now they call it hip hop, but it was the beginning of it, and all the famous people were in it. And I mean, to go to those rehearsals was extraordinary because they used to try to teach me, and I was like, oh no, I can't do it. You have to just be able to do that popping, right? So you can't learn it. So that was you know what I mean. That was interesting. So I was like, wow, this is cool. Yeah. And then the Last Dragon,
right?
It was in the Last.
Sarita, you got it all. And someone wrote in the comments, Cotton Club.
Oh, the Cotton Club, yeah. The Cotton Club. The Cotton Club was interesting. The Cotton Club was interesting because I've made so much money. Well, money is relative, but you know, as dancers, because Francis Coppola, he went through like 4 different choreographers. Mm-hmm. And they used the skeleton crew, which most movies do, so they don't want to pay all the cast. So they have like maybe 6 people. So I was part of that 6. So because he kept, I'm not saying fire them, they would get, you know, they would bring somebody else in. So I stayed during all those times. Mm-hmm. Then I was even there for the filming. Mm-hmm. And that was an interesting thing because the costume designer, she only wanted the people who were like the models to be in her clothes. And it was almost like, I don't know, it's another story, but there's a kind of, I'll just say it really quickly. There was one part that I really wanted to do. And because they took so long into taping, Lydia Barker was in it, who was a principal with DTH at the time. Mm-hmm. And she was, I mean, I'm not saying anything that nobody doesn't know. It's not anything bad. Yeah. But she was pregnant at the time, and she thought, oh, we'll be done by that. But because Francis took so long, he was so long in the process. Yeah. And when it came time, so then who was there? I
try to tell these kids, stay ready.
So anyway,
stay ready. When you are called, you are ready to go.
Yeah, you gotta be ready. So it was just one thing after another. I didn't mean to leave the company, but there was all these things that it was like Barry Gordy was the producer of one. There was all these black movies at the same time. Anyway, the Psych Cotton Club. So I don't know how I started working with Judy. Mm-hmm. She had some jobs that she needed like an assistant. So way before Jamison Project. Gotcha. So she was just used me and a couple other people like Jonathan to work out steps on, to work out phrases. She goes, you know, I have some ideas. You need bodies. Yeah. You need bodies. So that's what it happened.
Jonathan Reisling?
Yeah, Jonathan Reisling, yeah.
Yeah.
And a couple other people. So we started, again, I might not have the facts exactly right, but I know we started working together, and then she had jobs choreographing for like the Washington Ballet and a ballet, the Dallas. We went to Dallas. We went a few places, but my favorite place was for Béjar. Because Maurice Béjar, that was the other company I always wanted to go in. I wanted to go Béjar. So I went with her when she, you know, was her assistant for that, and that was amazing.
He was a genius.
Oh.
I'll never forget meeting him. We were in Lausanne.
You met him?
He was, yeah. Béjar, you know?
Béjar, right? The name, Béjar.
So you're dancing with Jamison Project, and then Judy takes over Ailey, so you're back in Ailey for a few years. But
no, this is an interesting thing. So Judy had met, and we went to Caracas, to Venezuela, a few times. They kept asking her back, so we went quite a bit to Venezuela. So each company, she would meet someone who would just like turn her on, or her choreography. Like there was this man, Yayo, in Venezuela who was extraordinary.
Mm-hmm.
So each company, there was somebody that just was like, she goes, I want to invite all these people and have an evening, kind of like how Complexion started. She said,
right.
I want to have an evening of just, I want my work to be seen by these people. Mm-hmm. And then she wanted to do it at the Joyce, and it turns out you can't rent the Joyce for like a day. So she said, all right, we'll have a week. And it was so popular, they said, well, why don't you just have a company? And so that's why the Jamison project started.
Oh my gosh.
So I was in that and her assistant. Now this is where the tricky part comes in. I get this, we're just getting started, we're getting bookings. Alvin calls me. He says, I really want you to come back to the company. And so I was like, oh my God, but I just started with Judy and it's a small company. Plus I'm like her assistant. And I was doing costume designs too. So I was like, what do I do? Because I love Jamison Project. I love working with Judy, and I love the dancers, and her choreography was very interesting. It was nothing bad. It was fantastic. So then I get this call from Judy, and she said, I just spoke with Alvin, and I want you to go back. She said, you need to still be on that level. You still need to be on these big stages. And my company is not going to be there. I want you to go back for him. So she made that decision for me.
Oh, beautiful.
And it was amazing because I'll never forget, it was the last year and then he passed. So I had one more year with him. And had she not said that, I wouldn't have, it was like maybe 4 or 5 years since I was with the company. So I got to have that last year with him.
Wonderful.
It was amazing. Yeah.
Ah, Sarita, what a story. Are you writing a book?
No, everybody says I should. I should. And then when Judy took over, then I was there already. So
exactly. I enjoyed dancing with you so much. I mean, we used to cackle, be on stage. One of my favorite moments, it's kind of funny though, when we were doing House of the Rising Sun and Blues Suite.
Yeah.
I mean, when Ailey, you've got all kinds of eyelashes and hair and extra hair and,
extra hair.
And we were doing the trio in House of the Rising Sun, and you were doing the last solo, and we have to come and gather you up because you fall to the ground.
Yeah, fall, right.
And you said to me on stage, you go, girl, my hair is coming off.
No.
Girl, get my hair.
No. So what did you do? Did you pivot back when you were down there?
I kind of like slid it off.
No,
and
you took it off.
I eased it. It was coming off. I eased under my stool. And so in the blackout, I had to grab up my stool and your hair.
No.
You still had a lot on. It was just like one ball piece. And you were like, we grabbed up on you. You were like, girl, my hair's coming off. But I mean, again, live theater, nothing will ever replace that. And we have about 10 minutes. Actually, there's like, I think there's like,
what about,
there's a question in there.
I want to say one thing about dancing together. My favorite ballet, you know what I'm going to say, is Jaulet's ballet.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes.
Shelter. We killed that. I'm sorry.
We did.
I'll say it.
Yo, we used to be so emotional after.
We couldn't talk afterwards.
Spit. No makeup.
You can't talk after that.
We can't talk. And the interesting link to that is that's one of the ballets that we performed on Summer Stage in 93. Yeah, and here I am now. But do you remember working with Jawale? And we
yes.
we were ballet, and we were doing it, but we still weren't quite where we needed to be. And she brought in her company dancers. Yeah. And she had us sit against the mirror, and she's like, just watch them do it. And then we saw how low to the ground they were, and that extra next level of like earth. And I just remember a lot of us, I know for me anyway, came in the next day, we couldn't walk because we were just
because we were a little too pulled. We were a little
we were
too trained. We didn't get like
I
let all that go.
I love dancing that with you.
Stick your butt out. Don't point your feet. Just like
just go. Just go.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to say, like, along with yourself and shredding, the photo that's, I think is you and Dawn, lives in the Smithsonian African American.
Yes.
Sarita.
Dawn Bellamy.
You're there. So, I mean, so much going on for you. So much going on for you. So, in this little short time we have left, Mr. Carlos Antonio Scott had a question. What did he say? Did I lose it? He goes, "Hey, Satin."
Yeah.
As a dancer, is there a regret you have if someone you did not get to work with as a dancer? It's a great question.
Yeah, maybe Ulysses Dove.
Ooh.
Maybe Ulysses Dove, because I asked him. He never cast me.
Mm.
And I thought his stuff was amazing. And I was like, how come you never choose me?
Oh.
He just said, I didn't say it like that, but I was like, I mean, I just casually, because I was curious. I was like, God, though, I was there.
Yeah.
He says, I just don't see you in my work, which is perfectly fine. But I mean, because I'm a big fan of his works.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had the opportunity to dance with Martha Graham, but I didn't like Graham at the time. So when I see the ballets now, I would have loved to work with Martha Graham too.
Yes. Awesome. So now in your life, you're doing, I mean, I just remember when I got to the company and, wanting to lengthen out between you and Renee, floor bar, Pilates, you're teaching everywhere. I just want people to know like where they can find you, where you're teaching. Let us know what's going on for you today in this world.
Well, the thing is
for COVID.
One of the benefits, I don't know, we're not going to get into that whole thing, but just personally about having what we're going through and learning how to teach online is my whole teaching focus has shifted. Then, giving somebody a workout or a class, it's helping people get strong to withstand this. You got to be strong, man. Like we talk about, still I rise. We ain't going down. I'm not going down. So my focus is, no, we're going to get strong. We can't be.
Right.
There's no time. We could go there, but no, we got to pick. We come this far. We got to get stronger. So my focus when I'm training people is even that, when you get physical, when you train, you get the mental thing. But my focus is really on that, okay, no, we got to get strong. So the best way, if somebody is interested, is just contacting me, DM me on Sarita _ Allen _ movement, and then just give me a buzz or give me a way I can contact, because I just do it. I don't have like big things. Mine is very small and private, and I'll just let them know if people are interested. Right now, I don't have a place where they can see my schedule because I'm just doing it.
Right.
With my private clients and a few classes.
Yeah. And because I was rushing from the meeting, I didn't get to add any of the links here, but I will add the link to your page.
Or Ailey. Oh my God. They can take me at the Ailey extension. I forgot. Saturdays at 9:00. Pilates Evolution. Yeah. And we probably might be adding Ailey Bar back. Well, I designed Ailey Bar. And so they're slowly adding that back to the schedule, to the Ailey Online, the extension. But yeah, they can definitely 9:00 Saturdays.
Right. And they can also just DM you privately here on Instagram.
Yes, and then I'll give you my schedule for private classes.
Yeah. Well, so I wanted to definitely keep this light, but to your point, with everything that's going on, we certainly have to stay strong mentally and physically, spiritually.
We have to.
If your spirit is faltering, then that will inform everything else around your being. And so just, in terms of, your neighborhood, where you're living, how are you feeling about going outside? Are you getting out? Do you feel good?
Well, I'm still, because it's not over and I'm still in quarantine. I go out a little bit because I need to get fresh air, and I live by the park.
Oh, that's good.
And I had to go out if I have to go to acupuncture or something like that. But No, I look at the numbers and I look at what's going on. I don't live in fear, but I'm living like we did before. I'm not just going to be, you know, I'll see what happens slowly because I don't have to. If I was an essential worker, I would have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm just taking it day by day. I'm taking it very slowly. I'm trying to keep my students inspired and empowered and doing what I can online, signing petitions, doing my thing, helping my friends who lost their jobs, you know, everybody just helping out where they can.
Yes.
You know, doing your thing. If you're calling the congressman, because as Barack Obama says, yes, we need the marches, but then we have to also address the policy.
Right. Right.
So I'm trying to get involved in that, you know, which is a slow process, but we have to, you know.
Yeah.
We got this far. We came over. We survived. Then they tried to take us down. You know what? I have one thing I wanted to say.
Yes.
I had this light bulb moment. And I just find it so weird that people even don't have this feeling towards us. If we could somehow magically just eliminate for a day all the black and brown people and yellow people from the earth, what would that look like? Oh! Like
dry.
What would be? I mean, even for their sports, no.
Thank you.
No Williams sisters, no the music, no anything, no nobody to help them, no just dance performances, the arts, nobody to copy their style, nobody. Can you imagine? It's so weird though.
Yeah.
With the tanning beds and the self-tanners and the lip plumpers and the lip gloss and the appropriations still in the music, but yet it's so odd.
You better speak on it. You better speak on it.
It's very odd. So if we will all just disappear, okay, y'all have at it. How boring is your life gonna be? What?
Okay. Well, listen, I don't want to.
No. Yeah.
I know we have like about 30 or so seconds left.
Okay.
Any thoughts, you know, just, you know, this has been so amazing. And I am so happy to talk to you today.
Well, I just read this one thing from Toni Morrison.
Yes,
I'll do
please.
quick. This is precisely the time when artists go to work. There's no time for despair, no place for self-pity, no need for silence, no need for fear. We speak, we write, I'm going to add, we dance. That is how civilizations heal.
Amen.
Now is not the time for fear.
Now is not the time for fear.
Still I rise. Shut enough.
I rise.
Right?
I love you.
I love you, Danny.
I can't wait to see you in person, to give you the biggest, juiciest hug.
Yeah.
And take care of you. You know where to find me. I know where to find you. Thank you for coming.
We're also proud of you, Danny.
Oh,
you're like a little sister coming up. So now we all look at you. Look at Danny.
yeah. Thank you. So this,
Thank
Alan,
you for inviting me.
yes. Thank you for accepting. Please Google her, find out more, follow her, DM her for the Pilates and the training.
Yeah.
You will fit greatly. Shout out to my guest. It'll be a special version of dannIGeeLive with my jazz vocalist diva friend Joyce Elaine Yule. And also quickly, yes, Summer Stage is going digital tonight on YouTube, 7 p.m. with a very special Voices program that speaks to what's going on in our lives today. And so thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Sarita Allen.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody who came and listened. I didn't get to see you, but
thank
you.
And say hi to your mom for me, please.
I will. And yours too. We're lucky.
Bye.
Bye. I want to put hearts. I guess I can't.